Maplestory N is releasing tomorrow. On the 15th, you're going to be able to play the blockchain technology-based Maplestory IP server. This is going to include 4 job titles, the Explorer classes only, and also 2 tokens, which I will be going over in this video. Someone that has over 10 years worth of MMO experience, has played Maplestory in the past. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, the first thing I want to go ahead and very quickly talk about, this is probably going to be the most asked question, has to be accessibility, playing the game. A lot of people are restricted in terms of which countries they live in and which don't live in. Now, I've actually gone ahead and played the Pioneer test, and what I found is that if you use a VPN, you can actually get into the game from wherever you're living in the world. The only barrier is the VPN to log into the game, and from what I have found, you can turn off the VPN after you've entered the game, and you will be perfectly fine. You'll be able to play with the ping that you want to play in. This is probably the biggest question everybody's been asking me. They're blocked, they can't play it. And that's my answer. Second, if you're going to be playing Maplestory N tomorrow, you should be joining our Discord server, Legion. We are grinding. We have grinded many games in the past. I am a competitive gamer and we're not going to be losing. So you might as well go ahead and join us. Now, in terms of the crypto component and some numbers that we should be looking at, they have 2 tokens. It is a multi-token ecosystem. They had an NXPC preseason, so to say, aka they're just rewarding people that played during the Pioneer test. This is happening at 6 UTC. If you convert it to your time zone, you could see when this is happening. We don't have a concrete time as to when Maplestory N will be launching. Well, presumably we're going to be getting that as we get along the day, but we do know it's going to be happening on the 15th, so do look out for when this happens. In terms of Nexon, where Nexon has gone over the past couple years, Nexon's been killing it. I mean, they have an average annual growth of about 12.3%. Their revenue quadrupled over the last decade alone. Other things you should know in terms of Maplestory N and the main utility behind this whole move, it's a free market. I mean, that's literally all this is. Maplestory N is a mixture of old school Maplestory and the new era Maplestory. It includes some elements of both, but is not a concrete version of both. So if you're trying to have a fun time and you want to have a little bit of a fusion of both of these worlds, then you're going to be joining Maplestory N and having a good time. It's not a fully fleshed out game, but it's also not the bare bones Maplestory legacy that a lot of people come to know and love. Now, you can mint and trade acquired items, and so if you're playing Maplestory N, your goal always is just going to be grinding. I mean, Maplestory N actually has a higher leveling curve versus some of the other versions of Maplestory. Maybe not the first version of Maplestory, that was incredibly difficult, but not like the new one where it's very easy to level up. It is kind of middle ground where you're going to want to be in a party. Like if you're not in a party in Maplestory N, then you're probably not going to have the best time in the world leveling up. It's going to take much longer. That also encourages people to actually talk with each other. I know in 2025, we're all very antisocial, but from what I have found, it's actually positive to interact with human beings on Maplestory N because a lot of this game is going to be grinding, and you're going to be grinding for these items, these NFTs. So very important. Most of what you're going to be getting here is going to be just grinding the items on Maplestory N. In terms of the amount of people that might be interested, they've had over 180 million cumulative global users, 20 years of service expertise, and over 50 million accounts with over 10 years of activity. I mean, the stickiness of Maplestory, even in 2025, could not be understated. It is just one of the stickiest games on the planet, and it has shown with the way Nexon has scaled over time. Now, let's talk about the tokens. Maplestory has 2 tokens, NXPC and NESO. NXPC is the primary utility token for the ecosystem, acting as both a reward for the ecosystem contributors and a medium of exchange. So, if we're thinking about NXPC, this is going to be the off-game token mainly. You're going to be able to reward people, incentivize people with NXPC. That is the main utility here. If you're wanting to get into the ecosystem, then NXPC is going to be your way. Now, if you're going to actually want to get into the game, the nitty-gritty and grind, you're going to be earning NESO. It is the N in-game token that allows players to interact with various apps within the universe and in the NFT marketplace. So you're going to be using NESO, and then you're going to be stacking NXPC if you're interested in the governance side, if you're interested in everything else that has to do Maplestory. There are a couple of places that this NXPC token is launching. It is launching on the biggest exchange on the planet, Binance. It's going to be on Binance Alpha, on Binance Futures, if that's something that you are interested in. I'm expecting heavy volatility as a result of the Binance Futures listing. If you're asking me for alpha in regards to how I am going to be playing the NXPC launch, it is very simple. More than likely, the token is going to come out of the gate at a crazy valuation. I'm going to wait until a correction happens, until after the Binance Alpha rewards have gone out and people have gone ahead and taken profit. And then I will likely slowly be accumulating a position into NXPC. And that's how I'm going to be playing this. It's simple as that. And also, for the first time in history, NXPC is going to be listed on Upbit. Now, Upbit is Korea's biggest exchange, South Korea's biggest exchange. Why this is important is because there's no Avalanche project on the planet, because this game is going to be on Avalanche, that has ever been listed on Upbit. And as we know, Nexon, South Korea, Maplestory have some crazy ties. And so seeing it on Upbit is a world first for Avalanche. We have BitGet also introducing NXPC. For the people that went ahead and minted the free OpenSea scrolls, we're going to be able to get a bit of an early bird advantage. And talking about early bird advantages, if you head over to the Maplestory website, you can go ahead and download the game right now. You can do the pre-download on the top right, as you could see here on the screen. It's going to allow you to download the game. The game is around 30 gigabytes, so you're going to want to download it, especially if you don't have a fast internet connection, and prepare. In terms of preparation, this is important. This is a very important part. What classes would I recommend you to play? Now, in this version of Maplestory, this could change in the future. There are only 4 job advancements. This means that it's very, very, very base, and they've only included the Explorer classes. The Explorer classes are the all incumbents, the easiest onboarding to Maplestory. I mean, they're the easiest classes. Explorer classes for the longest time have been a staple in the Maplestory universe. These are the classes that I would explore playing. The first one is the Bishop. The Bishop has a very, very cool passive and skill that allows you to get more drop rate. We are playing Maplestory yet. I don't know. I don't have concrete facts on whether or not the drop rate is going to be affected in this version of Maplestory, but if it is, everybody should be playing the Bishop. Because if I get a higher drop rate in my party, you should have at least one of these guys in your party. I want to go ahead and grind because I want to have these NFTs. Simple as that. I want to get the NFTs. I'm going to need a Bishop on my team so I can get more NFTs. The Bishop is all around an awesome character, and so more than likely we're going to want a Bishop on every single team. The Buccaneer is another one. If you're into Paladins as well, Paladins are a great support class, give you that big defense debuff. Absolutely massive for any team bossing. In this version of Maplestory, debuffs are just hard to come by, and Buccaneers are able to tap into that and twist the knife just that much more. Buccaneers will be a staple with their party buffs as well. And the Bowmaster, also a solid, and what I think to be the best archer class inside of the Maplestory universe. As you can see, absolutely enormous DPS from a straight line. If that is something, if you go as straight, you're going to be enjoying this specific character. And overall, from what I have gone ahead and gathered, this is the executive director at NXPC. The NXPC token, it's structured to support ecosystem growth, aligning user incentives with platform development. From my perspective as a crypto bro, I am very excited for this because of the fact that Avalanche especially has been getting a lot of attention as a result of the arena. We've had some crazy runners recently. And also at the same time, we've had Gunzilla come out with the off-the-grid just flagship token here called Gun, which has been doing very well. We now have Maplestory Universe coming out. I'm hoping that as a result of the fact that you just kind of get the game, you play the game, you get items, you resell the items. It's a very baseline crypto onboarding experience, that it's going to be something seamless, something that doesn't scare off the MMO guy in me that has played a lot of MMOs. Something I will say, obviously, this game is restricted in a lot of countries, and that's going to affect player counts. A lot of people are just not going to feel like putting the VPN on. Maybe they just don't know that they could put the VPN on, and that's something that we do also have to factor in. So maybe the numbers aren't going to be the strongest, but from what I've gathered, they're trying, of course, I mean, I hope they're trying to go ahead and get this game in more and more regions. Just put the VPN on. Once you get in the game, you could take off the VPN, and that, from what I have gathered, is your number one onboarding route for Maplestory. When you're playing Maplestory, a lot of it is grinding, a lot of it is killing monsters over and over. There are some very cool quest lines. In fact, like the Kane storyline is very cool, where you're pretty much just some guy out there that is working for the government to pay off a debt, and your memory just keeps getting erased every time you go ahead and clear out your debt, so that you're just in this loop until you realize that there's just so much to Maplestory that I would heavily recommend. Even if you haven't played a Maplestory game in a long time, or you're just interested in something fresh, this is the time. I remember playing Arcade Unchained. Arcade Unchained was just a fresh version. It was a free-to-play version of Arcade. A lot of people enjoyed Arcade. I played Arcade on the Ruiner server. If anyone has played Arcade, you would understand. And I had a lot of fun playing that game, especially when it was fresh. So I'm always big into fresh restart servers, and I'm excited to see what they go ahead and do here from a crypto perspective, and also just from an MMO bro perspective. So if you're interested in playing with us, join our Discord Legion, link in the description, and I'll see you all tomorrow.